In these problems, we're being asked to find the domains of some square root functions, and in this case, there's some more complicated expressions underneath these radical signs. Again, just like last time, what we need to do is make sure that what's underneath the radical sign is never a negative value. So what that means is whatever's here, and in this first one, it's 8x plus 16, whatever's there, it needs to not be a negative number, which means it needs to be either equal to or greater than 0. So for all of these problems, you can use this process where you take what's under the radical sign and you set it greater than or equal to 0, and then solve for x. That should give you the domain of the square root function. So in this case, I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. That'll give me 8x is greater than or equal to negative 16. And then divide by 8 on both sides. And I'm going to get x is greater than or equal to a negative 2. And that is our domain. One slight complication happens when you have a negative coefficient on x in this kind of a situation. I'll show you how that works. Again, we do the same thing. We take what's under the radical sign, so in this case, negative 2x plus 10, and we set that greater than or equal to 0. So this must not be a negative value. Now, we're going to solve for x. So first I subtract 10 from both sides, and I get negative 2x is greater than or equal to negative 10. And now to solve for x, I need to divide by a negative 2. And this is where a rule crops up with inequalities. And maybe you remember, but if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality sign. So I can divide both sides by negative 2 here. I'm going to get x and on this side, and on this side I'm going to get a positive 5. Negative 10 divided by a negative 2 is a positive 5. But the inequality sign flips. So this is going to go from greater than or equal to less than or equal to. So our answer here for the domain is x is less than or equal to 5. So that is some more problems with the domain of the square root function.